We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Welcome back to IBD Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I am Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. Today's episode is inspired by actual events that have been happening.
So fun.
I kind of had some other things planned to maybe talk about, but I thought, hey, real life with this disease is, probably more interesting. What we're kind of calling this is not Mason is in a flare. It's more like, is Mason in a flare? We're not sure what to think. And so I think we had mentioned on the last podcast that
he was experiencing symptoms again.
Yeah. And so, typically they were very mild symptoms, but alarming enough to be IBD related that we did send a message to his doctor just to kind of let them know, hey, this is what's changing. His doctor's really good at following along and we just keep her updated when things happen.
Oh, great. He's having problems.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I know it's like probably for her, like, oh no, just like for us. Because we're like, okay, so is, a normal person might be like, hey, I ate something bad, or, hey, I might have got a virus. I might have I might have something. And you wouldn't probably think too much of it. But when somebody with IBD might get something, could turn into a flare.
Turn into a flare. Even if it's like, oh, it wasn't a flare, it was just food.
Right.
That incident can spark a flare.
So being sick, different things can cause flares. And also at the same time, Mason was doing 2 different finals for summer school, and they were intense finals. And so it was during those 2 finals weeks when he started not feeling
it's hot,
right.
And
it was super hot. So
which was fun.
It was like all these things, and it's like, okay, so what is causing him to become symptomatic? Is it the stress of this? Is it maybe he had a virus? Is it the biologic failing? All these things. Right. It's like, so all these things, I think any of you can relate. It's not like a normal person who's like maybe not feeling well and it's like, well, oh, no worries, I'll get over this. It's for someone with IBD, it's like you're all of a sudden trying to like figure this out. Like, okay,
what's happening?
Yeah.
If there is a problem, if there's not a problem, great. But if there is a problem, you want to, take precautions.
Right.
That way you don't realize it's not just a little problem, it's a big problem, and like, oops, I should have done something about it.
With IBD, it's always best to catch it when it's a little problem. And so we've learned this, we understand this, and so, okay, so we also, another thing we start doing, we don't have Mason's actual book, but we have a copy here. We sell these this isn't like a pitch to buy these because we don't make a ton of money. Again, it's not like that. But we sell these journals. We have a restroom journal and IBD symptom tracker, and behind us, there's the food tracker. So that's a little different. That's if you want to track what you're eating to see. And in this restroom journal, so one of the things we start doing is just documenting. Yeah. And it's just easier that way because we know the doctor is going to eventually be asking Mason to fill out a Pukai chart.
And, when there's so much happening, it's easy to forget stuff. So when you write it down, that way you can say, oh, on this day, it was specifically this stuff happened, which isn't great. But then a few days later on this day, this happened, which was good. And so you can have an exact, receipt basically for what happened.
And for us, versus like an app or something, this works really well because you can open the page and look right away and just see it. Like you get immediate visual image of what's going on. And when the doctor asks, then it's like, okay, it's not up to Mason to have to like try to remember all of this. It's like, here it is. And you have accurate details too. You might have remembered something differently, or so we start doing that so we can have accurate descriptions to tell the doctor whether it's, extreme or little. It doesn't really matter what the symptoms are. It's just a good idea. His doctor had Mason get his injection as usual. We were kind of hoping maybe when he got his injection,
Yeah, it would get better.
it would get better, and it didn't. And the injection was the Stelara. And so then we're going, okay. It's not been just a few days now. It's, been a few more days, and the injection didn't help. And so we again updated the doctor with some changes with what was going on. And when he did his infusion, which was a week after the injection, we again hoped that might help.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he got labs done, and we also turned in a calprotectin for labs as well. Then what happened was he got labs back, and some of the numbers were very abnormal for Mason. And the calprotectin had skyrocketed in the course of 4 weeks. It was like 1,370, where it had just been 100 4 weeks earlier.
Yeah, which is not great.
No, no. And so that was like, okay, this is showing something's clearly off. So a little stressful. You start to get kind of like, well, I mean, Mason actually handles things very well. I think it's kind of like well, it is what it is, and we're just going to approach it in the best way we can and solve it however we need to.
Exactly.
And from, a caregiver's perspective, it's more frustrating because you want to help and you want to solve it for them. And, as most of us have learned, that's not possible. But the best thing we can do is arm ourselves with knowledge and good questions and help figure out, how we can be helpful to the patient or to your child.
Yeah.
And that's basically, act as a support. And then also, since Mason's still under 18, we still talk to his doctor. We're part of all that. So we're all aware of what's going on.
Team.
Yes. In every sense of the word, definitely a team. So, so then after having, like.
Yeah. So the calprotectin's at like 1,300, and
yeah,
that's not good.
And we're thinking, off the top of my head, I don't have this written down, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to have this right. But calprotectin, I believe, measures the output of a neutrophil. And a neutrophil is a specific type of white blood cell. And when you get that inflammation going on from IBD, they start excreting more of a product called calprotectin. And so that is what is picked up. Right? I know. Neutrophils are just trying to do their job.
Yeah, but they're just doing it wrong.
Everything's doing it a little too well or not too well. I don't know how you call it. They're over drama. Too much drama.
At all, but it's either extreme or not doing anything.
So that's an indicator of, hey, something is actively going on inflammation wise. That's not something you just brush off. Sometimes labs can vary. Things can happen.
Like a few like a months ago or so, it went up to 300, which isn't great. You don't really want to. That isn't good.
Yeah. And a few months before that was like at 600.
Yeah, it was just at 600, and so that's not good. But jumping to 1,300 in like 4 weeks,
when it had already settled back down, we were in the right direction. Had settled down, and so for it to do that, there's all these thoughts running through my head. Is the biologic failing? This is what we've been kind of keeping on for the past year. And Mason had agreed with the doctor to hold off, and when they thought necessary, to do an MRI or do scopes to further determine. So, you have all these thoughts in your head. And so the doctor wanted to order more labs and more tests. And so for the third week, we went down to Rady's again.
Yay!
Yeah, and he turned in.
Drive too, by the way.
I know it is, and it's not fun. It's not like you're going to like, hey, we're gonna go have fun, and it's like you arrive at the hospital and you're like, ugh.
The hospital has very good AC, so
that is nice. That is nice, and yeah, but you get charged for parking every time too. But we actually avoided this time because if you get out of there within half an hour, you don't get charged. So, and actually the guy, the guy let us out for some reason. I think the gate was, sometimes they malfunction. Those are good days because when they do, they just do this little ticket and they let you out and you don't have to pay.
Guys, don't be messing up the gates. That's just not worth it.
So anyways, small price to pay, but it's not like, great stuff. And so we're like, all right, we head back down there. And then we got back one of the panels. It was a pathogen panel, and there was like 20 different labs run, and they were testing for things like C. diff, Salmonella, the coli's,
All the fun stuff.
Cyclospora was on there.
Cyclospora, yeah.
Yeah, it made an appearance. But C. diff is a big one, and so they did 2 tests for that, and everything came back negative. And I think
I like being a positive person, but when it comes to
We wanna
tests,
be-
I
right.
like to be negative.
But I think I felt kind of like even more confused.
Yeah, because it's like
Because I thought they wanted to rule out infection, and I thought, well, maybe he got something. No, he didn't. So not bad news, but confusing
yeah,
news.
because it's like, well, now what's causing?
Because now I'm like, all right,
it.
so now that eliminates that. So is it the biologic failing? Is he flaring because his treatments are not working? And which is something none of us want to go down that path. However, if you are going to go down that path, it's important to figure it out early so you can get on something and try different things. It is what it is. So unbeknownst to us, though, she did another calprotectin. And even though it had only been a week, I think she wanted to see what it was doing. And I had got a message from the doctor like, wow, his calprotectin is looking much better. And at first I was like, wait, am I looking at an old message? Because I know it was like, this can't be right. And even though, because Mason was doing better symptomatically, I should mention that too, doing more normal, just being more normal, but something still
was normal.
Right. Without trying to talk about it too much. When she messaged me, I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, I immediately went to the lab results and I saw the calprotectin had dropped 1,000 points.
1,000 points.
Yeah. And
so
so
back at 300.
it went up over 1,000, like 1,200 it had went up, but now it's back down and it was like 360.
In the course of a week. Yeah, when you're at that number and you go down to 300, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's much better.
I'll take it.
It's a win because that's not getting worse. And that's a vast improvement. Typically in the past,
it slowly dropped.
And it took work. It took intervening with steroids, other methods to
Not the kind that make you good at sports.
Right. No.
They're not fun.
No.
None of them are fun.
And so while we were trying to figure out the next steps, we were waiting to hear from the doctor what's going to happen next. They needed to know what to do next. All of a sudden, it's like, how is Mason feeling? Yeah. Well, he's feeling great. Okay, his calprotectin is coming back down. More labs to be done. We do labs every 4 weeks anyways on him. Full labs he gets done. We have about 2.5 weeks out till that. And so we'll probably, and we have to do another calprotectin. So
we'll see what's going on.
Just,
it's weird though.
Yeah.
Like what caused the blip? There's just a little blip and then it's...
Yeah. And
so far it's going back down.
And I will say, typically during summertime, he does have sometimes a small flare. But usually, and I'm not trying to be controversial in here, I know vaccines can be very controversial. So just our opinion again, this is what our doctor asks us to do. Whenever Mason does get like a flu vaccine, he will tend to flare a little. And he usually gets that at the end of summer. And so we typically see something, but that's usually associated with, makes sense. This one was like a little earlier in the summer and kind of like, where did this come from? So anyways, so
my guess is it has to do with stress. I mean, because there's finals and the school is... So think about this. You're taking school during the normal part of the year, college, and it is elongated over the course of a normal period of time for a semester.
Right.
During the summer, that is shortened dramatically, and these classes were especially challenging for the finals. On top of that, we were speaking at the blood bank, we were going other places, and the heat also doesn't help, it doesn't make you feel motivated when you're doing school.
Which we have our AC
so
on right now, but it is feeling warm. I don't...
Sweat stash.
I know. I'm like, this won't be too long of a podcast. I can't figure out why the air is not feeling like it's in this room. We have to check the vent. It still should not be this warm. I don't know. Anyways, it's been warm. So if we're glistening again,
it's shiny.
It's warm. I mean, again, like 78 degrees, guys, but it's humid for us here in Southern California. We're not used to the humidity.
The heat isn't too bad, but
no,
the humidity,
it's the humidity.
is not great.
Yeah. So anyways, we're just kind of hanging out now. We're going to see how things go. I think the good thing to talk about is sometimes our minds tend to get really negative, like when things start to go kind of south with this, because you're used to like, oh, great, here we go. Sometimes though, it's just best to try to just stay positive as you can and get all the testing done that the doctor recommends. And, with all this, like if she hadn't run that calprotectin, we'd all still be thinking something
Yeah.
crazy is like starting to happen and wondering because we had that second one done, there's a little bit of peace of mind that it's coming back down. We'll
Mhm.
see what the next one
Yeah, we'll
says.
see. We'll see.
The good news is Mason is feeling great.
Hmm.
And but he was not feeling bad. I don't think the whole time we weren't
No.
feeling too
So,
bad.
so here's a weird thing. Also, on the bright side, because you don't want to find an infection, but it would be good to explain what is happening. On the bright side, I don't have to take, and what's it called? That
The cortisone.
No, no, no. For the infections. Like
Oh, like antibiotics or
antibiotics,
however they
these are
treat it.
fun. And so on the bright
Mm.
side, I don't have to take antibiotics, which I did have to take a while ago, and that wasn't fun. Strangely, however, which makes me think that maybe it was a outside induced flare, not like biologic, maybe more like temperature. That's just because I mean it happens during the summer. Also, the vaccinations, but I don't know if that affects it a whole lot. And it's odd because it happened before,
Hmm.
and so I would assume that it's also the heat because you said in the group sometime people do talk about how heat
Yeah, I mean,
can spark it.
the doctors don't have any, there's nothing they've ever
Yeah,
mentioned to us about summertime being extra
yeah.
warm and having, no one's ever said
It
anything.
does
But
sometimes mess with the immune system. But what's interesting about this one that makes it stand out is that usually when I go into a flare, there are I particularly have some symptoms, which is losing weight. That's the first
mhm,
symptom I usually
typically losing your
notice.
appetite.
Losing appetite,
Hmm.
losing energy levels, and so those three things are things that like really set off the alarm. In the past, when I go into a flare, I notice one, I'm not hungry anymore. I don't eat as much. Two, my weight drops a little bit. This time I've been weighing myself and it's stayed the same. There's
Hmm.
been no fluctuation. My energy level is the same. I don't know if that's obvious.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I'm going to the restroom daily is about at a low one
Hmm.
to
It's like a
yeah,
normal.
it's just normal. And which is weird because in the past I would go sometimes 8 times a day,
Right.
sometimes 12. And so it's weird how it's only affecting certain things
Hmm.
when oh yeah, and no joint pain either. No joint pain,
Right.
which is something that I would sometimes feel like
You would,
ankle
yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
wrist
Like little
pain.
things like that.
Yeah, none
You
of
did.
that. I'm not experiencing any of that. So
Yeah.
it's it's odd.
And this is why it's also really good to know and kind of know yourself, like what your normal triggers are, what your normal feelings are, so you can speak to the doctor about it, and maybe they'll have more of a clue of what is happening or what is going on. And he's on two biologics, and so the biologics both act differently on the immune system.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that one is still working, one is not working. Mason could be metabolizing things differently. I don't know, but we'll find out. So just thought it was worth and talking to you guys about and saying, because I'm sure some of you go through this where it's stressful and you don't know what's
Well,
going on. And yeah, and but you get through it.
yeah.
And we've had so much support that has
Yes, it is
been,
so cool.
yeah,
So many people have reached out and
yeah.
talked to us and wished us so much good things. And thank you so much for that support. It means a lot. Uh, the magical support has magically made the
I know.
competitive scores
I think
drop.
it's all them, right? It's That's what
Yeah,
they did. They wished it away.
real
Oh
treatment.
my gosh. If only, right? If only. But there's some people we know who have the disease, who have kids who have it. And the main thing you hear from them is you'll get through this. And it's like, you know what? You will.
Hmm.
It's not always fun.
No.
It's not always what you want it to be, but you will get through it. And I think that is one of the important lessons in life. When you're faced with anything, you think back to your finals you're just going through. That seemed like really like, ugh, and now you're through it, right?
Yeah.
You did it. So I'm appreciative of people who help, who are multiple ways to support us, shown multiple ways, and for the ones who just remind you that, hey, sun's going to come up tomorrow.
Mhm.
And you'll get through it. I'm really thankful for that because that's the way you need to look at it. You don't want to like stay positive, like everything's going to be
Everything's
great.
fine,
And like
guys.
inside going, it's not. And you're like, oh no, but it is.
That's
So we don't want like fake positivity,
no.
but I think having really internally, truly trying to be positive about it because what is the sense in
I mean, I'm not really B positive, I'm more O positive in terms
Yeah.
of blood type, but
You are.
yeah,
So,
just kidding.
anyways, yeah, he's Mason has a great outlook on it, and I think a lot of people are like, man, it's awful when kids have this.
Mm.
And one of the things that we've mentioned on here before is when you're diagnosed at a young age, one of the things the doctors told us is, this is going to sound harsh right now, but this will become normal to him. And at the time, I was like, I don't want this to be normal.
Just
Like,
as normal?
right, I'm like, this should not be normal for any kid. This is terrible what
No.
he's going through. But you realize, what they mean by that is he's going to adjust better than probably an adult will. Who, when you get something later in life and you've been used to life one way, he was so young that life has been this way for 6 years. And it doesn't make it necessarily, I guess, easier. That's not what I'm trying to say, because that wouldn't be fair to you to say that. But I think you have a better understanding because it's something you've kind of
Yeah.
grown with. And it's then versus like someone like a parent
Yeah,
who
where
is,
you've lived so long, a certain
and you're like, I've
and
never
like,
heard of this disease. What is this? And, even just being the frustrations of a lot of it. But for Mason and for a lot of kids and people who've had this disease for a while, you do reach a level of normal, like the doctors were talking
yeah,
about. And so I think you guys are pretty strong. And pretty much just like roll with it because that's what you got to do. And be thankful that there are so many options and different things they can do now as opposed to 20 years ago. And when, there wasn't all these different options, you guys know, you see them on the commercials, and there's a lot out there. We do understand the classes of them and why Mason can't take certain ones.
hmm
There's a lot that people don't understand, so they do think sometimes I think they're over positive, like,
yeah.
oh, he can just take this newest one. I saw it on a
It's
commercial.
like,
And it's like, no, but that's not in a class he can take.
Mhm.
He's already, so a lot of people don't understand those things. They mean well, and
Basically said only works for certain individuals.
and they probably do in that
Yeah.
when there's at the end when they're talking really
Yeah.
fast, telling you all the awful things it does, and
Some
yeah.
specific individuals, and so
And
yeah, I know.
anyways, so so I'm thankful for the people that are supportive and
Mhm.
have reached out. It does make a big difference, and it's funny because that's what our last podcast was about, was support. And so
They're getting
hopefully
lost.
yeah, hopefully if you guys need anything and we can support you, please let us know. Please reach out if you need, whatever you might need to lift you up this week, help you get through something. And so with that though, I think we're gonna go. It's pretty warm. I want to check on the air conditioning
Yeah.
because I feel like it shouldn't. Mason should not be sweating like this. So we're gonna go take care of that. But you guys are welcome to follow us on any podcast station like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts. And there's other stations we have listed on Buzzsprout.
Yep.
You can also follow us on Team IB Determined on Instagram. We have started teamibdetermined.com. We've always had it, but we have started uploading merch on there, things you can purchase. We'll talk more about our lesson plan. That was one of the things I was going to talk about, but we'll do that
Get that
next time, potentially. And so, but there's things, so we're getting that more organized. So that is going to be up and running. And, you guys are welcome to check that out.
And if you want to watch us, because we showed the book in the video, you can always watch us on YouTube. If you want to see how shiny we are too, you can also watch us on YouTube.
I know the shine is unreal.
Yeah. So you
It's a
can
nice
watch us.
glow.
Yeah, it is a nice glow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Glamour.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch us, there's YouTube. There's also YouTube podcast. But if you are on YouTube,
Yes.
make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit that bell icon. And please leave a comment if you found anything relatable in today's video, something interesting. You want to say hi, you want to give your support. Do you need support? Do you want to talk about something? Just leave a comment and make sure it's positive.
Yeah.
We
Let's
need a
be
bunch
kind on here,
of
guys.
people.
I mean, if your comment is not like, hey, you're coming from a place where you're not feeling that great,
Yeah.
that's nice. Just, he's saying like, just don't be
Don't
great.
be like, hey, this episode was horrible. You guys are stupid.
Mason is not in a flare. Like we don't need to hear that kind of stuff. But at any rate, again, we don't really know what's going on, so that's why we're just kind of talking a little bit ambiguously. Hopefully, we'll have more of an idea after the next set of labs, and hopefully, Mason will just keep getting better, and this will be just another speed bump in the road of life.
Exactly, and just like you said that, you said never to give up. And so life is like a deck of cards that has been shuffled, and you might be getting a bunch of ones and twos, but somewhere in there there's an ace. And you're
Yeah.
playing the game of war, and you're going to use that ace and win a whole deck. So,
Yeah.
yay!
So with that, guys,
Yeah.
thank you for that analogy.
Yay!
And we'll be back here in 2 weeks to see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Have a good day and stay cool.
Yes. Hope you.
Unless you're cold, then stay
Right.
warm.
Stay warm. All right, guys. See you in 2
See you in
weeks.
2 weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to apply something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.